Welcome back to Breathe More. It has been a couple of weeks since I have recorded an episode, and my guest for today is actually the perfect segue because of what I've been dealing personally in my life, where I have been navigating a lot of health issues, like mysterious health issues. And this has been an ongoing thing, especially since like about 4 years ago, I was living in a house with a lot of mold, and that just created so many health problems with my body, dysregulation. And that was actually one of the first times where it was also an invitation to me to look at my body, my health, and my mental well being, not just from doing like healing and energy work and mindset, but also thinking about what I'm consuming and if there's supplements or herbs or plants to help my body as well. Not just like for me personally, it was like detoxing, but regulate and just give me support in a different way to come back to a state of well-being. So today we have a special guest, Tasha, who is the founder and CEO of Tasha Rose. It's an herbal company that has supplements, not just for adults, but for kids as well. And when we came together to talk about potentially collaborating, I just knew that it would be the perfect conversation for us to have, especially given how stressed out most of us are these days. And it just feels like doing some breathing practices or meditating and our usual go-to practices to reduce stress isn't enough. And so I wanted us today to have a conversation of how plants can also help us come back to our center. So welcome, Tasha.
Thank you, Anna. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so excited to learn more about your history and how you got involved in being an herbalist and what sparked the idea to then make it into a business.
Well, I always say that I'm a lifelong plant lover because I just, for as long as I can remember, have loved the flowers and the trees and nature. And so I feel like I was born with it, but I am also a trained herbalist. So I did a 2-year in-person apprenticeship where we got together and learned about so many plants, mostly in Western herbalism tradition. But we also learned some of the plants that are used in traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda. I then went on after my apprenticeship to mentor incoming apprentices for 2 years after that. And that was really fun just to see people who were curious about the plants and really wanting to deepen their relationship with it. And I actually really enjoyed mentoring them. And I also went to Costa Rica to study some tropical plants on a permaculture farm down there. So yeah, that's like how I've learned.
Was there anything that you were doing before that, or just like literally from the time you were a child, you're like, this is what I'm going to become, an herbalist? Like, I know how powerful and healing plants are. Or like, what made you want to then make it into your career and your soul's purpose?
I feel like I've lived a few lives in this lifetime so far. And right before I learned about the herbalism apprenticeship, I had gone through a divorce and like a big change and moved and just, it was at this point, you know how there's like, there's a few points in life where you're at a crossroads and it's like anything is possible. They're these magical portals. And usually they come after like a heartbreaking, devastating loss or like big change. But it's like, it's this portal where anything's possible. And I remember, I think I was at either Kundalini or like the coffee shop next door, but on the bulletin board, there was a little flyer for this herbalism apprenticeship. And I was like, that's it. Like, I'm doing this.
Amazing.
And it was just what I needed. It was circling with women in sacred space for hours and hours and hours and like going deep with the plants and meditating with them. And it was such a wonderful space to be held and seen and comforted and loved and really just what I needed in that chapter of my life. And then I didn't initially like have the intention of making it a business. I taught yoga at the time. I also worked at a restaurant. Like, I was like doing everything just to stay afloat. And then I met my husband now. We fell in love. We got pregnant. And when I was pregnant, I was like, I need to make some cough syrups and elderberry syrup because I know when you have kids, you get sick. And so that kind of spurred it. My daughter is really what spurred the whole business, and friends just started wanting what I was making, and more friends, and they told friends, and it really just grew very organically. I quit working at the restaurant, and then we got pregnant with our second, and I quit teaching yoga. And it was actually like December of 2019, I went full in, and we had no idea, 3 months later that the whole world would change again. But yeah, that's kind of how it all came about.
That's so inspirational, celebrating you for, following those little seeds of like curiosity and just like your soul saying like, I want to learn more about this. There's something about this that I think is just going to feed me, and look at you, that just naturally it has become a thriving business. I don't know how many people who listen to this podcast are actively or presently or even know about these herbal supplements. Like, I think people are very familiar with vitamins, and yeah, like elderberry syrup, I think has become more mainstream, where we know if we want to help our immune system, like that would be something great to take in order to support our body. But beyond that, can you just kind of break it down for someone who's brand new to herbalism? Like, what even is it? And in what forms do you consume it? Is it just like capsules, pills, or yeah, what is it?
I would love to. And those are great questions because it can feel really overwhelming, especially when you're learning like a whole new realm of things. I think what I always try to remind people of is that before we had modern medicine, we had plants. And so we're really just going back to our roots and using what humans used for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years to support our body. So it's kind of like a remembering in that sense. And then there's lots of different classes of herbs, ways that they're kind of categorized. And I have two favorites that I seem to talk about the most because they have given me the most benefit. The way that I understand them, they can give everybody the most benefit. So the first one is nourishing herbs, which are also called nutritive herbs. And they are the safest class of herbs and considered food because of their high vitamin and mineral content. So most of these are considered like wild weeds that grow all over the world, like dandelion or red clover, which are two flowers growing up that we probably all saw on our lawns. Dandelions are yellow, and red clovers are like these circular pinkish red little flowers.
I didn't know that was the name
Yeah,
for it.
I'm
Yeah.
actually drinking red clover right now.
Oh my gosh.
So oat straw is another one. Nettles is another one. Burdock, alfalfa, chickweed. Like there's so many nourishing herbs, but they're really lovely in that you were asking like how you can take different plants too. With the nourishing herbs, we make an infusion of them, which is very similar to a tea, but we're using more plant material and we're steeping it for longer so that you can extract the vitamins and minerals more effectively from them. And you drink it. So I recommend to just drink, 2 cups of any nourishing herb every day for the rest of your life. It's just,
Yeah.
go
So
ahead.
if I'm understanding correctly, so it is like a
Yes.
tea, but as you said, like you just have to steep it. So can you give us like maybe a mini recipe of something? Let's say you are just feeling really depleted on energy, and it's like it doesn't matter how much you sleep, or maybe you're feeling like groggy. Is there any nourishing herb that could help us with that?
So like I said, like they're all very high in vitamins and minerals and considered food. So any nourishing herb is going to help nourish you, right? Like build that foundational vitamin and mineral support that we need to function more optimally. And each of them has a different energy and a different personality and different kind of affinity for systems and organs and chakras of the body. So it's really just kind of learning a little bit about who you are and what you want. We have a whole series on Instagram that goes through nourishing herbs. You could use hashtag TR nourishing herbs, and it gives like a little overview. And you'll know as you're reading, like you'll get a ping like, oh, this one, I need this one in my life. But basically, you're just taking a handful of the plant, putting it in a 1/2-gallon jar, and filling it with boiling water. You cover it, you let it steep overnight, and in the morning you put it in the fridge. And then you just strain it into your cup or your water bottle as you go. So I just always recommend making, the 1/2 gallon, 8 cups at a time, because if you're drinking 2 cups a day, like you want it to last a couple days. You don't need to make it every day.
Yeah, that's such a great tip, especially where we all know that we should be consuming more water. And I love drinking water, but I know so many people who always say like, I just have such a hard time drinking water. It sounds like creating these nourishing teas, it could be an alternative where not only are you like drinking water, liquid, but you also have all of these minerals and vitamins infused into it.
Yes.
I love it. That's so good.
Yeah. And they have a lovely taste too. Like a lot of people don't like water, I feel like, because it doesn't taste like anything. But each one has its own little taste. Like oat straw is mild and sweet. And like red clover to me tastes like unsweetened iced tea. Nettles taste like earthy and green and refreshing. Like they're all different.
And so what is the other classification of herbs? If there's nourishing herbs, then what would be the other?
So the other one that I love are adaptogens. And you were saying at the beginning, you kind of wanted to talk about stress, and adaptogens help our body handle stress better, in a nutshell. Like that is what they do. And I remember learning about them for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, every single person needs to know about these. Like they're incredible. They often grow in very rugged, wild, extreme terrain. Think like high on the cliffs of Rocky Mountains where there's like huge winds whipping around and like no shelter from the hot sun or the snow. And they thrive there, right? Like they know how to live in very stressful conditions and still thrive. And that's what they do for us. Have you heard of adaptogens, or like have you worked with any?
Yes, I have. I feel like it's become something like trendy where you see it associated. I don't know if it's necessary with mushrooms or like even chocolate. I feel like there's like the marketing of like with adaptogens, but I haven't really known like, well, what is it and why should I consume it?
Yes.
So I'm glad that this is coming up.
Yeah. So now you know why, because they help our body handle stress better. And the lovely thing about adaptogens is that a lot of them have actually been studied clinically. And so studies have shown that they really work to support our body via the endocrine system, which is the system of our body that produces all of our hormones. And specifically, they have these natural compounds called saponins, which they're foam forming, which I think is kind of cool. They're what makes soap soapy and bubble. And we have these in our body, and they are antioxidant and they're anti-inflammatory, and they work via the adrenal glands, which is part of our endocrine system. And they've been shown when you take them consistently, right, daily over the long term, that's when they're most effective. So like similar to the nourishing herbs, you just want to like find a way that you can ritualize this and bring it into a daily practice for you. So I make a nourishing infusion every night, every other night, that I steep on the counter, and in the morning pop in the fridge and it's ready to go. I take our mood support tincture every day, I drop it in my smoothie. And you just need to like find a way, or not need to, but I encourage you to find a way, if this resonates with you, to incorporate it into part of your daily practice and daily routine.
Tell me more about this mood support tincture. Is this an adaptogen, or like in what form are the adaptogens? Is that more like a capsule, or can you also
So
make a tea?
you can get plants in powdered form, and they could come in capsules, and you could take them with water. You could, sometimes the powder is like mixed into drinks like matcha. Sometimes you're getting like dried plant material and like making teas or infusions. There's lots of different ways that it can be taken. You can also tincture it in alcohol, which is what our mood support tincture is. It's 4 of my favorite adaptogens: ashwagandha, shatavari, tulsi, and nettles. And then it also has 4 real heart-centered and brain nervous supporting herbs as well: chamomile, lemon balm, damiana, and there's one more in there. Sorry, little plant friend, that I'm forgetting.
Wonderful. So, yeah, so 2 different ways that we can support our body with these infusions to bring in nourishment, to bring in the vitamins, to bring in all of the things that maybe our foods and our diet isn't bringing into our body, and then the adaptogens to help support us. It almost sounds to me as well kind of like helping our body increase the capacity to experience. If it's supporting like with stress management, or like our regulation, our moods and all of that.
Yes.
Another layer to it, but it even feels deeper because we are ingesting them
Yeah, I
into
love
our
that.
body. How beautiful.
I love the word resilience. And I feel like the nourishing herbs and the adaptogens both increase our capacity for resilience. So, meaning when life throws something at us and we get thrown off center, when we get dysregulated, we're able to come back to our center and become regulated again, or re-regulate in an easier, quicker, smoother manner, right? Or maybe we can like ideally catch ourselves, like we can see, oh, I know this train track, I've been down there before, I know where it goes, like I'm gonna lose my patience with my kids right now. And so you can like take that deep breath and like hopefully not lose it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And what you do, with all of the breath work and like bringing that awareness to people, I feel like is so important too. And the herbs are more just like, I feel like the lifestyle things are the most important. And then the plants are like, they're supporting actors that come in and assist us. And like you said, yes, they just really help us to be more aware and be in deeper relationship with ourselves and have a wider capacity to experience the whole spectrum of life, the good and the bad.
I love also the invitation for us to add these plants into our rituals, like what we're already doing, but incorporate it into how we wake up in the morning or throughout our day, what we're consuming, because oftentimes I feel like we seek these things when we are in a state of already being sick, or like already feeling so stressed out and so overwhelmed, versus just throughout our time alive, like doing things to support us so that we don't necessarily get to that place of things feeling really bad. And so if we do take your encouragement of starting to incorporate these plants into our day to day, I can see how, again, to your point, it's creating more resilience within us to manage the stresses that are always going to be there, whether collective stresses or personal or professional, whatever it is, versus going to a place of complete depletion and then trying to rebuild. That's always a lot more challenging. And I know that I've been there.
Yes. Yeah, it's like, can we maintain more of like a steady ascent rather
Yes.
than these like this big dip of like, oh, we're sick, we're crashing. Like, I need to just go to bed for 5 days and like not do anything. And like life is still happening all around you, but you just need that reset. And the lovely thing about, or maybe not the lovely, but the very intriguing thing about prevention, or like, building in these foundational habits, is that we don't know what we've dodged, right? Like, we don't know what we've been able to skip past, while we're enjoying the day, or like what cold we didn't get.
Yeah. Before we started this conversation, you had mentioned how herbs are a really great way to support women who are going through perimenopause or maybe also already in menopause. And I know a lot of my clients, I'm 44 and definitely have started to notice some changes in my body happening, not just with my period, but my sleep, my energy levels, like my body, how like I feel like I used to be able to eat whatever. And now like things feel a little bit slower. And I hold a lot of space for women going through that transition. And I would love for you to share as well how plants can support us during that.
Yes, I'm right there with you. I'm 45 and I feel in the last year and a half, I've been like, oh, okay. Like I can look back now and see the pattern. But when I was for the first year, I was like, now that it's this persistent, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. I think, again, the nourishing herbs just to really give our body those vitamins and minerals, because when we have the building blocks, then we can function the way that the body is intended to. But without that, everything is harder. And, pretty much everyone has at least one vitamin or mineral deficiency nowadays. The vitamin and mineral content of food has declined up to 40% in the last couple of generations. And so a daily nourishing infusion goes a long way. Adaptogens are really wonderful for supporting the hormones in the body. I've been specifically incorporating shatavari the week before, or like leading up to bleeding, even though I already take it daily in our mood support tincture. I've just was reading about it again, like revisiting it. It's a traditional Ayurvedic herb. We use the root of the plant. And in Ayurveda, ashwagandha is considered like the prime male tonic herb, and shatavari is considered the prime female tonic herb. Even though ashwagandha has like caught all the headlines here for men and women, and both are wonderful for men and women, and ashwagandha is in our mood support tincture that I take every day too. But shatavari is translated as she with 100 husbands, or the cure for 100 diseases. And so those names really is like kind of hint us towards how versatile she is. And she does really support our hormones through PMS, through perimenopause, through menopause, heat flashes, sleep disruptions, anxious thoughts, or like mood changes that might be more prevalent. And then shatavari is also really wonderful for like the liver and the gallbladder and many other things in the body, increasing the nutrients that we absorb through the digestive system. And so that's the one that I've been kind of working with and incorporating a little bit more, as well as red clover, which is a nourishing herb. And my breasts tend to get like really tender, and red clover is wonderful for the breasts. Those are the two that I'm kind of playing around with right now. But it's really like I said before, doing a little bit of research, reading a bit, and like tuning into your intuition and what resonates with you, because we know what we need. We know.
Yeah.
But sometimes we just don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
Right.
And we also are constantly bombarded with so much information, especially on social media, right? Like everyone's an expert. Everybody's telling us like, this is the one way. And so for you to to put it back on us, I think is really empowering. But I'm also wondering, like, through your business, do you offer consultations? Like, if someone is curious, or are there tinctures or blends that you offer, infusion blends, given maybe what symptoms or what they're looking to receive support with, to make it a little bit easier for them to make a decision?
Mm-hmm. I love talking to people. So if you have questions, like, just email us through our website or DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to talk to you about plants any freaking day, all the time. I love talking about plants. So I don't do like consultations per se, but I'm happy to talk to you and guide you. I also love reading about herbs and have like a whole library of books, and we'll send you the picture of the cover and a link of like where you can get it. If reading is your thing, there's some wonderful herbalists out there who just have a really lovely way with words, and the way that they write about them is just like, it draws you in. Another thing I feel like I haven't mentioned is one of the ways I approach plants and studied them and like learned about them was what's called plant spirit medicine. So like thinking of each plant as a person or as a being, as a spirit that has its own personality. I kind of talked about this a little bit before. And just when you read about them, like you get more of an idea about what their personality is and if it's going to fit with you, like if it's going to enhance you, or if it's like an energy that you maybe don't need more of. So you're like, oh yeah, I've got like enough rooted groundedness. Like I might not need any more earth energy. Maybe I need some more water so I can get into like my emotions more and like out of my head.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Tasha. This was such an interesting conversation, and I'm excited to make my own infusion. I definitely still need support with my gut. Like it's been a challenge to heal it and to like really get at the core, like what is going on. And that in itself has created additional challenges within my own body. And so I'm excited to start exploring in this way herbs versus just like, I'm used to taking a bunch of supplements and I hate taking pills. Like it's so hard for me to like physically swallow them, that thinking of like maybe transitioning to tinctures or these infusions would be an easier way for me and a better tasting way to support my body. So looking forward to poking around your online shop and seeing what calls my body. Is there anything else that you want to share with us before we wrap up?
I think just reminding people to keep tuning into their intuition and ask me a question if you have a question. Like I am happy to talk. You can find us on our website, which is tasharose.com. On Instagram, it's tasharose.herbalist. And yeah, I'm always happy to talk plants.
Thank you, Tasha. And we didn't get into talking about how this is also something that kids can consume. I know I'm not a mother, but I'm an aunt of 2 little kids and they're always getting sick. So I'm also curious to share this with my sister so that she can maybe get some tinctures to support her kiddos.
Yes. Yeah, the nourishing infusions are so good for kids, especially, I mean, all kids, because I feel like it's impossible to get what they need into them with how selective they are with their eating. But yeah, gosh, especially if you have like a very selective eater, like a nourishing infusion, just use it as the base in their smoothie, or like make popsicles with the nourishing infusion.
That's such a great idea.
Yeah, my kids love them. Yeah.
And then, do you have a recipe for popsicles on your blog, on your website?
I think we have one on our Instagram. I have a couple posts about nourishing infusions for kids and like how you can introduce them. But I don't think we have like a specific blog post. But that's a good idea, Anna. We can do that before the summer comes.
Some business ideas.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. Great. Well, thank you again. We have Tasha's info in the show notes. Make sure to check out her store, follow them on Instagram, and let's get these healing, nourishing plants into our body so that we can support ourselves and thrive and be resilient.
Yes.
Thank you, Tasha.
Thanks,
and
Anna.
We'll be back real soon again. Keep breathing. Bye.